I'm so glad that you guys are joining me tonight on the Move and Shake call. As usual, this is 10 minutes of reflection. It's faith-based from a Christian perspective, but we do use wisdom that comes from life and experience. As promised, today I wanted to talk about dealing with distraction. Last week, the topic was the Nightline, and for those who were unable to catch it last week, basically the Nightline was based upon Proverbs 31, the portion in which it talks about how she awakes at night, basically her industry during the nighttime, and how I conceived of it as a nightline, our ability to allow God to speak to us and to use us and to deal with us above the morning. And that's one of the ways you can think of nighttime in that particular passage, above the morning. And I kind of like that there's an opportunity for us to get before God and to strategize before the day even begins. And so that was the concept of last week. But this week, I wanted to talk about dealing with distractions. And I think those two are connected in that, in order to deal with distractions, you have to have good strategies. And so the scripture text that I wanted to use for this was Daniel 1. And I'm sure you are very familiar with this, especially for those of you who are partaking in the Daniel fast. Basically, it's the story of Daniel and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, them being placed before the Babylonian court, and the ruler basically asking them to train with the other people to become one of his advisees. And basically, Daniel and the other three Hebrew young men declined from training in the same way as the other young men because they wanted to demonstrate how their God has equipped them. And I thought that was a useful text for dealing with distraction, in that one of the greatest ways we can combat distraction is by really working on our discipline. Now, discipline could come in various ways. I've been talking with some of you all already this week about discipline, scheduling, calendars, accountability, having people who check in with you. All of those are strategies, not tactics, but strategies. To me, strategies are preparing for long-term goals. Tactics are things that you do in the midst of challenge that are not meant to be sustainable, but strategies are what you do in order to have structure, what you do in order to have staying power. And so for me, the first point of dealing with distraction is working on your discipline through strategies. Now, one thing I was sharing with a mentee earlier this week was that, with our sort of personalities, we don't like to do anything unless we feel like it's 100% ready. If you're anything like me, you don't like to have to do anything. You don't like to feel like you're not giving your best. I understand it completely. But that doesn't always work. I remember listening to a world-class musician, Denise Graves. She said something to a group of us vocalists. I'm a vocalist by trade, and one of the things that she said to us that blew my mind, but I think about it all the time, and I hope it's helpful for you. She said, if you're waiting to be able to perform at 100%, then you need to stop waiting. You need to be able to perform when you are at 60%, because the 100% will never come. When you have nerves, when you have anxiety, that 100%, no matter how much you prepare for it, a lot of times we are not at that 100%. When you're dealing with distractions, that is actually the mark of someone who is built for success. It is not being able to do everything when it is perfect that makes you great. But it is when you are able to lean with it and rock with it, as they say, with your distractions, that allows you to be able to arise to the occasion. Case in point, when I think of the last presidential election, and I think of all